Good afternoon. You are tuning into the remote public scoping meeting for Pemmil West 25th Rezoning project. I'm doing just a quick audio and video check to make sure we are properly streaming to our YouTube channel. We're going to start this meeting in a few minutes, around 2 o'clock. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome. You are tuning into the public scoping meeting for Pemmil West 25th rezoning proposal. My name is Evren Ülker Kacar, and I am the Deputy Director of New York City Department of City Planning's Environmental Assessment and Review Division, EARD. Tom Smith, the Senior Advisor for Neighborhood Studies and Special Projects, will co-host today's scoping meeting. And in the event of any technical difficulties, Tom will take over this meeting on my behalf. We truly appreciate you making the time to join us today and appreciate your patience if we do run into any technical difficulties. I want to emphasize that we will hear from everyone who wishes to speak today, and this meeting will remain open until we have heard from all speakers. We also welcome written comments and testimony through 5 p.m. on Monday, December 22nd, 2025, and will provide written comments the same attention and consideration as those comments we will hear live at this meeting. Next slide, please. We will now proceed to the public scoping meeting for the Pemmil West rezoning proposal. For the record, let me note that the seeker City Environmental Quality Review seeker application number for this project is 26DCP048K. Today is December 11, 2025, and the time is now approximately 2:01 p.m. Next slide, please. Again, my name is Evren Ülker Kacar. I am the Deputy Director for Environmental Assessment and Review Division at New York City Department of City Planning. I'll be chairing today's scoping meeting. The Department of City Planning is acting on behalf of the City Planning Commission as the lead agency for the proposal's environmental review. As the lead agency, the department will be responsible for overseeing the preparation and completion of the proposal's Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS. Next slide, please. So joining me today are several of my colleagues from the Department of City Planning. Tom Smith is the Senior Advisor for Neighborhood Studies and Special Projects. Luis Cafiero is the Environmental Assessment and Review Division's Project Manager for this proposal. Griffin Mills is the Project Manager for the Land Use Application from the Brooklyn office. We are also joined by the Director Alex Sommer and the Deputy Director Karen Savud from the Brooklyn office. And our Associate Counsel, Joy Kim, is also here with us today. I want to also mention that during today's remote meeting, we are joined by several DCP staff members who have been working in the background to ensure this meeting runs as smoothly as possible. Many thanks to them. Next slide, please. So together, we are here to receive your comments on the draft scope of work for the draft Environmental Impact Statement, or DEIS, for the Pemmil West 25th Street rezoning proposal. The draft scope of work identifies the subjects to be analyzed in the upcoming Environmental Impact Statement and describes all the methodologies that will be used in those analyses. The draft scope of materials are posted on Department of City Planning's planning website. Next slide, please. So the purpose of today's meeting is to allow public participation in the preparation of the DEIS at the earliest stage possible in the environmental review process. Specifically, scoping allows the public to help shape the DEIS before it is written. Towards that end, the department, as the lead agency, will receive verbal testimony on the draft scope of work from elected officials, government agencies, representatives of the local community board, and the public. We also welcome written comments on the draft scope of work. As I mentioned before, those written comments can be submitted through Monday, December 22nd, 2025 by 5 p.m. Next slide, please. At the end of the written comment period, the department, as the lead agency, will review all the comments received, those we hear today, as well as all the written comments that we have received. After carefully reviewing these comments, the department will decide any changes, if any, need to be made to the draft scope of work and will issue a final scope of work. It will be the final scope of work that serves as the basis for the environmental impact statement. Next slide, please. Today marks the beginning of the written comment period on the draft scope of work. No decisions will be made today regarding the draft scope of work, and the purpose of this meeting is to allow the public to provide their comments about the draft scope of work and allow the department to listen to those comments. It is very important for all voices to be heard today. Next slide, please. I will now focus on the structure of today's meeting, which is going to be divided into 3 parts. The applicant team will make a brief presentation describing the Pemmil West 25th rezoning proposal. The applicant team will provide a brief summary of the environmental review's draft scope of work. This should take about 15 minutes. During the second part of the meeting, the department will hear testimony from elected officials, government agencies, and community board leaders. And during the third and final part of the meeting, we will be receiving testimony from the members of the general public. Next slide, please. On to a few logistics for today's scoping meeting. If you wish to speak and plan to access this meeting online using a computer, tablet, or a smartphone, please remember to register online through New York City Department of City Planning's website at www.nyc.gov/planning and navigating to the top right-hand corner of the calendar page and following the registration instructions for the Pemmil West 25th rezoning public scoping meeting. A link to join us and provide your testimony will be emailed to you after you have completed the registration process on the DCP calendar page, and we will add you to our speaker list in the order in which you registered. Next slide, please. When it's your turn to speak, your name will be called and you will be promoted to be panelist. This will allow you to unmute your microphone and the ability to turn on your camera if you wish to do so. There will be a short period of time. It will appear that you are no longer in the meeting. Don't be alarmed. You should rejoin the meeting as a panelist shortly. Then you will be asked to convey your remarks. To allow us to hear from everyone who wishes to speak, we ask you that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes. A 3-minute countdown clock will run on the screen if you are participating online. At the 3-minute mark, your time will expire. And at that time, you will be asked to conclude your remarks. Please note that promoting speakers takes a moment, so please be patient. Next slide, please. So, additional note of instructions for those of you who are joining us by phone today. If you wish to provide testimony via telephone, please select *9 when prompted. Please listen for me to call out the last 3 digits of your phone number. At that point, you will be given the temporary ability to share your testimony. You must press *6 to unmute your telephone, and we will be able to hear you speak live at this meeting. When your testimony is complete or your 3 minutes have expired, whichever comes first, you must press *6 again to unmute yourself. Please note that muting and unmuting registered speakers may take a moment, and we appreciate your patience. Next slide, please. On to some time limits. Speakers from the general public have 3 minutes to give their testimony, and there are a few exceptions to this 3-minute rule. Elected officials, for example, are given the courtesy of jumping the front of the queue and are not limited to 3 minutes. To those of you who are viewing us on the live stream and wishing to testify, please be mindful of potential background noise during your testimony. Make sure that the live stream is muted when you begin your testimony to avoid hearing an echo. If anyone is viewing today's presentation but doesn't wish to provide testimony, we encourage you to stream this meeting on the YouTube live stream. Next slide, please. So if you wish to submit a written testimony, it may be submitted to the Department of City Planning on the, you're seeing the address on the screen. This address is 120 Broadway, 31st floor, New York, New York, 10271. Attention to myself, Evren Ülker Kacar. We also have an email address for this project that you can submit your comments to. It's 26DCP048K_DL@planning.nyc.gov. This information can be found on the Department of City Planning's calendar page. Again, the written comments will be accepted by the lead agency through Monday, December 22nd by 5 p.m. Next slide, please. All right, if you missed these instructions, please visit the DCP website at the calendar page on how to participate and provide your testimony. We will now move on to the first part of the meeting, where the applicant team will present an overview of the proposed project, and this will be followed by the environmental consultant who will summarize the draft scope of work. So I will turn this to Josh Siegel for the applicant team for their presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Everett. I also want to thank everyone at City Planning and everyone from the community who's come out to discuss this project, which we're quite excited about. My name, as Everett said, is Josh Siegel. I am an officer of Pemmil Land Holdings, which is a subsidiary of Pemmil Affordable, which is then a subsidiary of Pembroke Companies, which is the name you see under my on my screen today. First, I want to introduce the members of our team. They'll all be speaking later. Our team is comprised of Wolfgang architects, Chris Walker and Shiva Gomi. Our environmental consultants are AKRF, which will be Alex Lieber and Lisa Lau. And lastly, for Fried Frank, it is David Karnowski and Elizabeth Lee. So again, let's go to the next slide, please. Pemmil Land Holdings and Pemmil Affordable are longtime owners, developers, and managers of affordable housing across all four boroughs, across four of the boroughs in New York City, and with a particular focus in Coney Island. We own over 1,000 units in Western Coney Island, and we are the successor company to the Starr companies. So we've been in this neighborhood since the 1960s. So we are fully invested in the neighborhood and want to see success for affordable and for other types of housing in the Coney Island submarket. So we're very excited about this property. We also own properties in the Bronx, on Rosewood Island, and also have owned stuff in Queens as well. And our majority focus is on affordable housing, which is what this project is planned for. So this is an aerial view of the project site in Coney Island. The project site is outlined in red, as you can see. It's comprised now of 3 tax lots, lots 1, 2, and 3 in Brooklyn. It's block 7014, and it is bounded, as you can see, by Neptune Avenue, West 24th Street, Mermaid Avenue, and West 25th Street. Now I will turn the presentation over to Chris Walker from Wolfgang Architects.
Thank you, Josh. Next slide, please. So as Josh mentioned, Christopher Walker at Wolfgang Architects, and I will be presenting the existing and proposed site conditions today. One of the proposed actions is to rezone a majority of the block 7014. The rezoning area includes the project site, you can see here outlined in red, and an adjacent neighboring lot, lot 7, outlined in blue, fronting along Neptune Avenue. The project site is projected development site 1, and the neighboring lot 7 is projected development site 2. None of the parcels along Mermaid Ave are being rezoned. Next slide, please. The project site, again outlined in red here, is a single zoning lot comprising of 3 tax lots. tax lot 1 at the corner of Neptune and West 25th. Tax lot 2, which would be the mid block where you can see the 3 existing buildings, and tax lot 3 over on the right, closer to Mermaid Ave, where the existing parking is located. The project site is currently located in an R5 zoning district with a small portion to the right of the screen that is mapped within a C12 commercial overlay. The project site was within the Coney Island urban renewal area, which expired in 2008. Project site has approximately 142,000 square feet of lot area and contains the 3 existing buildings which were built pursuant to the Coney Island renewal plan and does not conform to the R5 zoning controls. The two-story buildings and 16-story building are state Mitchell-Lama buildings with a state CO. Currently, there are 172 units and 107 at-grade parking spaces. Project goal is to develop housing on the underutilized open areas of the project site. The rezoning area also includes the adjacent Lot 7, which is identified as projected development site 2 for environmental purposes, and here you can see that mapped in blue. Lot 7 has approximately 12,000 square feet of lot area and is mapped within the same R5 zoning district. Lot 7 is also a non-applicant controlled parcel. It is improved with an existing 1-story manufacturing building currently occupied by a boiler room and heating plant equipment company. Next slide, please. Here you see the proposed conditions. The applicant is proposing 2 new developments that would contain 100% affordable housing on portions of the project site that are currently contain parking lots and grass covered areas. On lot 1 along Neptune Ave would be developed with building A, which is an 18-story predominantly residential building containing 100% affordable housing with a small retail component at the corner of Neptune Ave and West 25th Street. Lot 3 in the mid block would be developed with building B, which is a 12-story medium density 100% affordable housing building. In total, the proposed developments would add 426 affordable dwelling units to the project site. Together with the existing Mitchell-Lama buildings, the total number of affordable units would be 598. Lot 7 is anticipated to be developed with a 7-story mixed-use building that will provide affordable units in compliance with applicable MIH requirements. It would also contain approximately 70 dwelling units with at least 31 affordable units and 24 at-grade parking spaces. Next slide, please. Here you can see the rendering at the corner of Neptune and West 25th Street looking at building A. This is a rendering of project developments on project site viewing along West 25th Street. The project site is located in a flood zone, and per Appendix G, all residential uses would need to be elevated above the design flood elevation. Now I pass this on to Liz from Fried Frank to present the proposed actions.
Thank you, Chris. Next slide, please. So I will be presenting the 3 actions that we are seeking under this Pemmil West 25th Street rezoning application. The first action is the zoning map amendment that Chris has mentioned earlier. It's mainly to change the current R5 residential district to an R7-3 residential district with a C2-4 commercial overlay that would be mapped along Neptune Avenue. And further down towards the Mermaid Avenue side, we will be rezoning the R5 district to a R6-1 district. But along this side, we'll also eliminate the portion of the C12 overlay that currently extends onto the project site. Together with the zoning map amendment, there will be a zoning text amendment, which is to amend Appendix F, which primarily to establish the rezoning area as a mandatory inclusionary housing area. Lastly, there is a zoning special permit action to waive required parking on the project site. it will actually, the proposal will not remove the 107 existing at-grade parking space, as those are required under the state certificate of occupancy. Now I'll pass it on to Alex Lieber at AKRF to discuss further about the secret technical areas.
Thank you, Liz. Good afternoon. Could I have the next slide, please? So as was mentioned earlier, AKRF is the environmental consultant for the project, and we are preparing the environmental impact statement, or EIS. As was explained earlier, the main purpose of this meeting is to receive comments on the draft scope of work, which explains the scope of the analysis for the EIS, and which I will review now. For the EIS to assess the full scope of possible effects from the proposed project, a reasonable worst-case development scenario was developed that accounts for the existing conditions in the project area, the future without the proposed project, also called the no action or no build condition, and the future with the proposed project, also known as the with action or build condition. And it is the incremental difference between the future no action and with action scenarios, which serves as the basis for identifying potential environmental impacts. As was noted previously in this presentation, the proposed rezoning would apply both to the project site, which we are calling projected development site 1, and the outparcel on lot 7, which we are calling projected development site 2. As Chris mentioned earlier, the outparcel is considered a soft site, which has the potential to be redeveloped with the rezoning. So the reasonable worst case development scenario with action scenario includes a projected 7-story building on that site, which will have residential space, including affordable units pursuant to MIH. And that project is considered in the with action scenario along with the proposed project's 2 new buildings. So as shown in this table, the reasonable worst case development scenario assumes that both the project site and the outparcel will remain in their existing condition in the no action condition. And then in the with action condition, the combined total of new development on the 2 sites is approximately 496 dwelling units, which includes 447 affordable units and approximately 4,800 square feet of retail. And that is the development increment that is being analyzed in this review. For this review, the analysis year is 2028. Could I have the next slide, please? So as described in the draft scope of work, the EIS will examine the proposed project's potential effects in the environmental areas which are shown on this slide. At the same time as the draft scope of work was being prepared, preliminary analysis of the proposed project was prepared for the environmental assessment statement, also known as the EAS, which is also available for review along with the draft scope of work. That analysis in the EAS determined that the project would not result in significant adverse impacts in several areas, such as community facilities, shadows, and urban design, and therefore additional analysis in the DEIS is not warranted in those areas. Those completed analysis areas are shown in gray. And as I mentioned, the preliminary analysis are available with the EAS for review. For the areas where the preliminary analysis could not rule out the potential for significant adverse impacts, detailed analysis will be prepared for the DEIS. Those areas are shown in black on the slide. The focus of the EIS analysis will be on transportation, and it will also include related analyses to the transportation analysis in air quality and noise. Where the potential for significant adverse impacts is identified, the EIS will identify potential mitigation measures and will also disclose any unavoidable significant adverse impacts. The EIS will also discuss potential alternatives that would reduce or avoid project-related significant adverse impacts, which also achieve the goals and objectives of the proposed project. And finally, the EIS will include a disadvantaged communities assessment, which follows recently issued guidelines for determining whether an action may cause or increase a disproportionate pollution burden on disadvantaged communities. As I mentioned before, the methodology for all of these analyses that will be prepared for the EIS is summarized in the draft scope of work. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your time today. We look forward to hearing your comments on the draft scope of work. And now I will turn it back over to Everett.
Thank you, Alex, and the applicant team for the presentation. We will now move on to the part 2 of the meeting. At this time, we will be receiving testimony from the elected officials, community board leaders, and government agencies. When it's your turn to speak, your name will be called and you will be promoted to be panelist. This will allow you to unmute your microphone and give you the ability to turn on your camera if you wish to do so. There will be a short time period where it will appear that you are no longer in the meeting, but you should be rejoining the meeting as a panelist shortly. If any of the speakers experience any technical issues that prevent them from sharing their testimony, we will pause, then move on to the next speaker to allow for troubleshooting to happen in the background, and we will call your name again at a later time. Also, for assistance, if you are listening in today, you should hang up the phone and call 877-853-5247, the toll-free number. And when prompted for a meeting ID, dial 618-237-7396. And when prompted for the password, dial 1 for troubleshooting. So in this group, we have one registered speaker from Community Board 13. Eddie Mark will be our first speaker and next speaker in this category. Eddie, we will promote you to be a panelist shortly to have you provide your testimony. I think I see Eddie in the attendees column. Can we promote him to be the panelist?
He's rejoining now.
Great. Eddie, can you hear us? Welcome.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't see myself, but I guess it doesn't matter. So anyway, thank you very much for the presentation. We appreciate the insight of what's coming around our neighborhood. Our biggest concern for Community Board 13 is traffic in the area, pollution, of course, with additional units, and other things that are happening with big developments along Neptune Avenue. I don't know, well, I'm sure the city planning knows, but I don't know if the developers understand that. This is just one of many developments that are coming along Neptune Avenue. We're very concerned about how this is going to change the composition of the neighborhood. Generally, the high rises are south of Mermaid Avenue. This is one of the other, I guess, ambitious development that are doing it above Mermaid Avenue, north of Mermaid. We're just concerned that this is going to be overrun by high rises. We understand that the management wants to make money by utilizing their property, but the question for us is when is enough is enough, because we realize that on West 22nd Street, West 23rd Street on Neptune, there's a project going on that's going to be developed within the next year to 2 years. Then one on West 28th Street that's also going to be developed. We have, further down over by Seagate, where they had one built on West 33rd Street, with Grenadier. And we heard that there's another one that's going to be built on West 37th Street. These are a lot of development just on Neptune Avenue. This doesn't concern the one that actually happens to be down the block from West 25th Street and Surf. There is another development for Ocean Towers. They want to build 3 buildings also. And, our concern is more cars, more congestion into the neighborhood that does not need all. We understand there's a need for housing development in units, but the question is, how many is it enough? Because right now, like I said, this is north of Mermaid. South of Surf is going to be another one. We have Parcel A, which is for EDC, Phase 3 from HPD. And we're going to have another one that's being built as we speak on West 21st Street, and even one right by the parachute jump where they're going to remap the street. It's a lot of development that we're all concerned. The question for city planning is, when is enough is enough. This is, like I said, not on this project, but we asked city planning to tell us, when can we say enough? Because like I said, this is not, West 25th Street, Pemmil. We understand you want to maximize your existence and, making more. I mean, our thought would be, if it's possible, is to build within what's there, which is R5. If the one on West 24th Street is built up to 16-story building, built the same height as the one on West 25th Street, and that might be sufficient. At least it's built without changing the zoning. Then you can build as of right. But asking to come forward to do a ULURP and changing the zoning here makes it harder for us to believe that this is better for the neighborhood by making it higher in height for these units, where they could just build a 16-story building like the one that they have on 24th Street. That is my testimony. We'll try to put something together and write it down for you. But and also with the written testimony, is there any way to extend it, because this is during the holiday period, to January 22nd? Just courtesy, only because of the holiday in between, and we can't get the full board to, really talk about this. Is that a possibility?
So thank you for your testimony. If you can provide us your written comments and the
Sure.
request, we will take a look at that.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments and for joining us. All right. We do not have anybody else registered on this under this group of elected officials, government agencies, and community boards. We will now move on to part 3 of the public scoping meeting, where members of the general public will speak up to 3 minutes. A 3-minute time tracker will start when you start your testimony on the screen. So I think our production team is going to bring that slide. Great, thank you. When it's your turn to speak, your name will be called and you will be promoted to be a panelist and given the opportunity to unmute your microphone and turn your camera on if you choose to do so. There will be a short period of time. It will appear that you are no longer in the meeting, but don't be alarmed. You'll rejoin shortly as a panelist. So please remember that after 3 minutes have passed, you will be asked to conclude your remarks. If speakers do experience any technical issues, as I mentioned before, we'll pause and move on to the next speaker to allow for troubleshooting to happen in the background. So if this happens to you, please revisit the DCP calendar page website for assistant. Again, that number for assistant to call is 877-853-5247. And the meeting ID to be entered when prompted is 618-237-7396. And the password is 1. All right, I'm looking at our backup team to see if there are anybody who registered at this time under this category. Not seeing anyone registered to provide any testimony. Are there anybody who wishes to speak at this time, who are in the Zoom room or who are watching us live on YouTube, I encourage everyone to take a moment to visit our calendar page to register if you wish to provide a testimony for this proposal. That website is www.nyc.gov/planning, and you will navigate to the top right-hand corner of the page to the calendar page and follow the instructions to register for the Pemmil West 25th rezoning public scoping meeting. So these instructions are also shown on the screen. And with that, again, I encourage everyone who are tuned into us online, who wants to provide testimony to take a minute to register to join us on Zoom. I'm not seeing anyone else who are registered at this time, so we're going to take a 5-minute break to allow anyone to follow the instructions, to register, to join us, and we will return in approximately about 2:41. The clicker will run on the screen, and we'll see you in 5 minutes after the break. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome back. You are tuning into the remote public scoping meeting, excuse me, for the Pemmil West 25th rezoning proposal. For the record, this proposal seeker number is 26 DCP 048K. My name is Evren Ülker-Kacar. I am the Deputy Director of the New York City Department of City Planning's Environmental Assessment and Review Division, EARD. We are currently on part 3 of the public scoping meeting for this proposal, where members of the public can speak up to 3 minutes. A 3-minute time tracker will start when you begin your testimony, and please remember that after that 3 minutes have passed, a bell will signal to end of your speaking time, and you'll be asked to conclude your remarks. So during the recess, we had one speaker registered from the local community board who will not have a time limit for their testimony. So they get to jump the queue. So Jeffrey Sanoff from the community board, if you're in the Zoom, we will promote you to be the panelist to provide your testimony. So we don't see Jeffrey in the Zoom room yet. All right. Yes, you're seeing the instructions on the screen. We're going to see if Jeffrey joins us in a few minutes to provide his testimony. And in the meantime, I'll repeat the instructions to join us. If you are joining us on YouTube, want to provide testimony for this proposal, please visit our calendar page at New York City Department of City Planning's website and follow the instructions to register. You can also call us on one of the toll-free numbers you're seeing on the screen, 877-853-5247 or 888-788-0099. The meeting ID for this meeting is 852-9914-3034. You'll need to press pound to skip the participant ID, and the password for the meeting is 341154. So I'm going to check with our backup team to see if Jeffrey has joined us. We do not see him in the Zoom room. And we do not have any other speakers that have joined us at this time. Are there anybody in the Zoom room currently who wishes to provide testimony at this time? You can raise your hand if you wish to do so. All right, if no one else wishes to provide any testimony, we will move on to close this public hearing. As a reminder, you can provide us with written comments. Can we have that page of the production team for written comments, email and mail address? I think the first slide. Or so again, we expect written comments. We accept written comments on this proposal by December 22nd, 2025 by 5 p.m. These comments can be emailed to 26dcp048_dl@planning.nyc.gov, or these comments can also be mailed to the department at New York City Department of City Planning, Environmental Assessment and Review Division. Attention to myself, Evren Ülker-Kacar, 120 Broadway, 31st floor, New York, New York, 10271. Again, we'll accept written comments through Monday, December 22nd by 5 p.m. So it's currently 2:46 p.m. and this public scoping meeting is now closed. Thank you.